starting. It started over on OBS. Now we'll see if it connects. And we have an excellent connection. It says there's a green light, which is different from the green light of freeness that everyone has been talking about in the chat. So hopefully everything has gone swimmingly on everyone else's end. Hi everybody, I'm Weebo.
Hello. Yeah, I caught you talking about the green light of whatever because I hadn't paused the stream. So that's good. That's good. At least you're not doing what they did. Remember 2016 when everyone would be like, and we're live. I hated that shit so much. I know some fucking boomer streamers that still fucking do that.
And we're live! Welcome everybody to the cocktail. I'm your host, Weebo Jones, and with me tonight is Polydub. How you doing, Poly?
Now, you are an old granny on YouTube compared to me.
Am I?
Oh yeah, you've had an account longer than I have, and you've been streaming and been a YouTube man longer than I have.
It doesn't
Definitely.
show, does it?
You know what? I would have, out of context, said no, it doesn't. But then I take a look at pictures of you in your dorm, and it's like, oh my god, baby Weebo.
I have had moments in my, I don't want to call it a career because it's not a career, but like in this hobby where I have felt like I'm at the top of my game. Right now I don't feel that way, but I think that's part of the reason is because I'm not putting out as many videos as I'd like to be. But like where I've felt at the top of my game and like the cleverest that I've been and like I am the hottest shit. And that is not right now, and yes, it was college Weebo, and I think most of it is because, like, that was when I was super dedicated and, like, super pumped and inspired and ready to do all of the content all of the time. And now I definitely feel like a granny. I'm just, like, laid back, kind of, like, doing my own thing, you know, not on the grind as much.
Right.
It's totally fine. Here, let me show you my wisdoms, chat. Here's what I've learned. Weebo, quiet versus Poly. Okay, I can...
Now you can go ahead in Discord and just turn me down slightly.
Yeah.
Fastest way to do it.
I already did that, though, because you were already loud. And now you're like... 82.
It's my stentorian voice. You have to account for that as well.
Yes, of course, naturally. Adjust volume. I also think that perhaps, maybe, most likely, my sound settings... The recording device that I use, Oculus Virtual Audio Device, which is the one? Where is... I'm like 90% sure that it got turned the fuck down again. Yep, it's 71. It's supposed to be up here at like 85. That's 87. That works. Okay, so chat, let me know if I sound better or if I sound worse. Too quiet for Weebo. I can move this closer, too. Is this better? I apologize. Sometimes.
I will avoid any ASMR references, and we'll just move along as per normal.
That's right. You back the fuck out, girlfriend. I have the spray bottle now.
Why didn't you put her in a room with some cat toys and some nip?
Well, because if I close the door to this room, the rest, like, this room gets way too hot. My lights are freaking lamps. They harness the power of the sun and they blast it upon me. And so, if I do that, it gets super hot. So, the water bottle, the spray bottle, I don't have to actually spray it. She already knows what it does. Because I've had to, on occasion, when the girls fight, or have fought in the past, I've had to spray them. So they're very well aware of what this symbol means when I pull it out, and they're very wary of it. So if I show it to them, they back off immediately.
Do they?
And so every time she even thinks about coming up onto the desk now, I'm like, I don't even have to use it. It's like a ward. It's like garlic for a vampire. It's quite nice. I figured this whole cat mom thing out.
Lovely.
So yes, sorry, I am a granny
But,
compared
yeah,
to
you
you.
are a granny, and I was just about nice little segue because I was just about to say that's part of being an old lady is having cats. So you're win
Yeah,
and referring to yourself as a cat mom, etc.
I'm preparing for when I am an eventual mother.
Right.
They are my babies for now. They're very
Zelborn
easy
and I
babies. I'm
made
not
up
gonna
this
lie.
whole thing about Far that she has little old lady syndrome or lulls.
Mm-hmm.
I because she knits and a hundred other things and doesn't understand the ways of the internet and she totally does, but we love going at her for being a boomer.
Yeah.
And the inside joke, of course, is that Far being 26 years old but looks like she's 14, she's perpetually 14 years old.
Does she really look just
Like she's
she's
perpetually
14?
14. Yes, absolutely. Far might be all of 100 pounds soaking wet with boots on.
That's not so
There is
much a
very
bad
much.
thing. Like, you want to look younger for longer, typically.
No, I get it. I get it. And I'm not making fun of her. I'm just saying there isn't very much of her. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Why, Polly? I have to ask you a question.
Uh
Um, but so of the lady friends that you have online,
huh.
like, how many would you say you have? Like, there's me, there's Far, there's Eve,
Yeah.
and is there like anyone else that you
Well,
can think of?
sure. There's an assortment of others. There's Lucky Pop Tart.
Mm-hmm.
There's Gamer Valine.
Okay.
There's lots of people.
And okay, so of those people that we've named, how many would you say are fun sized?
Um, well, Gamer Valine is. You are. Far is. Pop Tart. No, Pop Tart's normal.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
What would you do
it's a
if there
majority.
was a child right in front of you?
Oh, I'm so glad that that went off. What would you do if there was a child right in front of you? So that is the next 6 minutes is specific donation from now on.
6 minutes is
Because he always donates that exact amount, so that
sure.
is the amount that triggers that donation.
Right.
So if you want to see a small child getting mowed down, speaking of the fun
Literally.
sized, that
Yeah.
could not have worked more perfectly. Yeah, donate 314. Donate pie. Thank you the next 6 minutes for the donation. My ass is on vacation, my good madam. Happy dance. I guess I will go see Black Adam a second time. It was a fun movie. I recommend you take El Boyfriendo to see it and buy him a soda. I hope your Halloween is great and your costume game is on point. I hope so too. Halloween's my favorite time of year. Sorry, okay, so Polly, I had a point with my question, and the point was, why do you think you
God makes people so small.
no predominantly make
Oh.
friends with fun-sized women on the internet? At least I don't know about like in your in your personal life IRL, if that is something that happens, that's a phenomenon that you notice. But it's a thought that I had that I wanted to
No,
inquire
actually, it's
about.
predominantly like it's not everybody, like all of my female friends online, but it is, yeah, the majority. Yeah, you pointed out something I haven't thought of before. Why would that be? I don't know. Why y'all small people online?
Because online I feel like a big person.
Right. I could pretend to be something I'm not.
Exactly.
I tell everyone I'm 5'8", and they have no proof.
They can't tell. There's no way. No
It's-
way. It's fine. Again, not sure what fun size means. Small, large, short, tall. So fun size means short, or on the shorter side of height. Like, so you're 5'2" and under or whatever. So me. Hi. Hello. I'm fun sized. Daniel Fulman. I did get your letter, by the way. I see you're in chat, so I'm going to take this opportunity to open it up, because I have a P.O. box, don't you know? People send me stuff on occasion. And Daniel Fullman always sends me a holiday card every single holiday. And sometimes I get them on the holiday, or before the holiday.
President's Day, Arbor Day, Labor Day.
I don't think I don't think I've received a President's Day. I've saved every single one, and I put them on the fridge when I get them. So as soon
Daniel
as I
Fullman, you're not sending tree-based Arbor Day gift cards? For fuck's sake? The leafiest holiday of them all?
I know I've never gotten an Arbor Day one, but I'm not sure about President's Day.
I don't even know why Arbor Day. So let me look. While you're reading that, I'm going to look up Arbor Day. Go ahead.
Well, we have to celebrate the trees, Polly. That's why. He says,
is it? I don't know.
Yeah, Arbor Day? That's what
well, no,
Arbor
I get that.
means.
But I just, yeah.
So the card says it's Halloween, and there's a fun little picture of a kitty with a pumpkin on the card. We love to see it. And then usually what he does is he sends me not just the card, but he writes holiday-themed puns in the card. So we will be reading them, and you, chat, will be taking the puns. Okay? To start, why did Dracula not want to attend the business meeting? He was afraid of the stakeholders. Do I have a sound effect for this? Oh, nope, not that. That's not what I wanted. That's not at all what I wanted. Reacts. Ooh, this one. No, not that one.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Moving on.
At my book club, I wonder why they were throwing Stephen King books around. Then it hit me.
Right. A heavy duty echo going on there.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
A witch was looking at new vacuums and thought, am I the only one that still knows how to drive a stick?
This is why Mom doesn't fucking love you!
That can be taken more than one way. Anyway, why don't monsters eat ghosts? They taste like sheet.
It tastes like sheep.
Sheet.
Oh, sheet.
Sheet.
Oh,
Like sheet.
gotcha. Right. Right. The things I don't use. Uh-huh.
Ooh, this one's perfect for this one. Because it's the dead, and Horatio Caine is famous for investigating homicides.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Next one. Real life stuff got in the way. So, real life stuff got in the way. This is not a pun. This is like the actual letter. Real life stuff got in the way, so I did not have time to make cards. Sorry. That's totally okay. Yeah, because usually they're like hand-painted cards that he sends me, and I do appreciate the effort that he puts into them. But you know what? I appreciate the fact that he just sends me mail, because I really like getting mail, guys. And I will open it. I want pen pals. Like, I've written Daniel Fullman back to his letterbox personally, and I've stamped it personally, and I've, like, licked the envelope personally. Like, because, you know, that's what you do with the envelopes. You're supposed to lick them shut. But, like, yeah. I enjoy getting mail. At least, I think... Daniel Fullman, did you get the letter that I sent in reply? If not, then I'm gonna have a serious conversation with my post office man. Yes, I will. So the rest of the card is, hope yours is perfect. Happy Halloween, Dan. And then he writes a little
Nice.
emote avatar thingy of his face. And so I deeply appreciate it. Like I said, I put these on the fridge. So if you send me letters, chat, I will be that proud granny type mom person who puts them on the fridge, because I'm just
God, you have lulls.
I have lulls. Oh,
Little old lady
little old
syndrome.
lady syndrome. Yeah, Yeah,
You
I
do
do.
because that's what little old ladies do. They put their grandchildren and friends' cards and pictures up on the fridge. You donate now. Lols is a serious syndrome affecting thousands of women before their time, forcing them to have achy joints, rheumatism, and engaging in hobbies and lifestyles that are far beyond their years.
Unbefitting of a 20-something-year-old.
Premature behavioral aging is no joke.
Exactly.
Donate now.
Donate now to save your favorite streamer. I'm writing this down because I want to make a commercial about this. Little old lady syndrome.
Lols.
It's gonna be a dono. If I remember to do it, or if I have time to like come up with a plan to do the thing.
And you enjoy costumery. So
I do.
try and pull off your best. I don't know how you would do it. Little old lady look.
Oh, I just borrow my grandmother's wig and then wear some of her clothes that she's given me.
There you go. So like hunch
shoulder
over
pads.
in a chair and be like, I used to enjoy the video games. And then Lols took over, and
Oh,
now
no,
I
no,
just
no,
give
no,
out
no.
Werther's candies to the little ones.
I would be the bougiest of little old ladies this side of the Mississippi. All right?
That's a chat. What up, Pat?
Hey, Pat, what you doing? Do it for the lulz. I'll do it. I will do it.
And it'll drive far right up the wall because we've been bugging her that she has lols for years. So like, I'll spam her with that shit. Okay, so let me tell you about the time that I entered into my deepest level of nerdery.
Yes, please do. I would love to hear
Okay.
this story. Hang on, let me get comfortable.
All right, it's not actually a long story, but it's
I just kicked my desk with my toe. Ow. Did you read your Streamlabs, by the way, from the next 6 minutes?
Oh Christ, I didn't. Good call. I actually did read it, but I didn't read it aloud. That's not. I know that's not the point. But so here we go. Next 6 minutes. Thank you for the $2.42. It is of my opinion. Odd way to start a sentence. 6. It is of my opinion. Polly would make a great little brother. We would have profound philosophical chats. I would teach him to ride a bike. We would drink an assortment of bourbons and play gin rummy. Now,
Why doesn't Polly know how to ride a bike at this age?
I happen to enjoy gin rummy. It's a good game. Like legitimately, it's a good game. There are a host of old people. I associate with old people. Card games, and so you should figure out how to play these because you have lols, so you're like a step ahead. You'll just like zoom right into the fucking rules and shit.
I know how to play Shanghai Rummy. Does that count?
Well, I know how to play it. Sure, not really. No, it doesn't. Not in regards to what I'm talking about, because there's like I know how to play like 5 different rummies. Rummy's just a great game overall.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Rummies.
Gin rummy particularly is a really good game. Cutthroat rummy is awesome. It's better for the younger folks because it involves stealing cards and screwing people over, that kind of thing. So you get to play off of other people, and it moves a lot faster because you can steal cards. Hands go real quick, and you can leave people in a lurch fast because you count up how many points you leave other people with in their hand. You know what I'm saying? And the idea is like golf, the lowest score is the winning score. You can go out so fast playing off of other people's hands.
Thank you for your patronage.
That you can leave people in a serious problem, which is good. And what's wild, that, with a lot of rummies, whatever's wild will be so many points plus the face value of the card. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like wild cards are like hot potatoes in Cutthroat Rummy. You want to get rid of them fast because if you get caught with them, you're fucked.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're trying to like, God, I got to get rid of these, but they're so valuable. I want to use them to get it. Cutthroat Rummy's fun.
Okay.
But I mean, to say like with the younger people, like that's like I'm suffering from LOLMS, little old man syndrome.
Yeah. I feel like it's a condition in the friend group that suffers
Yeah.
for. Yeah.
Well, I look forward to being a dirty old man, so it'd be Dom's syndrome. No, I'm gonna be a great dirty old man because you can
No, but it's
grab
so
a girl's
fair.
ass and just be like, I'm old, I didn't know. Haha. Everything's excusable by the fact I'm old. Like it just
Can I do
violate
that as
all
a little
kinds.
old lady and get away with it?
I think you can. Yeah, I think you'd be able to grab a young dude's ass and just be like, I'm old, I didn't know.
Young whippersnapper, back in my day, they didn't build them like you.
Yes. See, you got the shtick of it. It's there you
Mama
go.
like. I'm gonna just read the Streetlights from Blind Patriot, who donated oh my gosh, I'm in side quest mode. $7 to say, Weebo, is your face less round? Have you trimmed down recently? I have actually. I dropped like 10 pounds in the last month, so I'm very happy about that. It shows apparently. All of my hard work has been paying off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been eating like shit. Everything tastes like nothing. It worked.
Actually, it's very easy to slim down eating food that you enjoy. You just have to make like slight tweaks, and also you have to apparently get on the right medication for it. So, yay! I'm not as hungry as I used to be, which is great, because I used to be like a bottomless pit of hunger.
Weebo.
What?
I was going to wait till after stream to say this, but you're the one who brought it up. Meth is not a medication. You need to stop this.
Do I look like I'm on meth?
No, but it's. I don't want it to get to that point. That's why we're doing a public intervention now. She's been calling it her prescription chat. Okay, this is not okay. The guy in the alley that she knows is not a doctor.
First off, it's a woman and it's my gynecologist. Second off,
Her gynecologist. This is how deep it's gotten. The guy made a dirty comment at her, so she turned it into an OBGYN scenario. Okay, it's not okay. This is what it looks like when your friends fall down a dark path.
yes,
We need to do something
suffering.
about this.
Actually, this is a cry for help.
When
Polly,
was the
thank
last
you.
time any of you ingested your prescription from a pharmacy through a glass pipe?
This is
Weebo-
some slanderous
Weebo doesn't-
information you're putting out there.
Anywho,
Yeah,
we were on
I
some
feel
other
really
shit
good.
before this. What were we talking about?
We were talking, so we started talking about little old lady syndrome, and then you were going to tell me about a story. You were going to tell me a story.
Oh, right. About how I got into nerdery for real.
Right.
Though. Yeah.
And I got comfortable, and then we tangentialized like we do.
But true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what we should call this. The tangents. Off the rails with Polly and Weebo.
That's a great name for a stream. I'm writing it down. Off the rails. I'm gonna use that someday.
I mean, we have shown up with content, what? 10% of the time? If that?
Yeah.
The entire format of the show is start streaming and go.
I feel like, okay, all right. So we do cocktail hour, and that's like a you and me thing. But if we were to include Sam into the conversation, that's when I think we would have to use the off the rails name.
Yeah. Try tangents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Get it? It would be like TRI, but like
Tangents.
try, like TRY. Try some tangents because there's three of us. It's try TRI. See, I'm just full of ideas.
You're just that good.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
I do it like few others. Anyway,
Yeah.
so the first time I fell down the nerdy rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm a huge Star Trek fan.
What?
It's true.
Really?
Yes.
I had no clue.
And except for a very generous gift from a viewer of AAA and Noir Bar, I would not own, or up until that point, I didn't own anything Star Trek related. No, not a T-shirt, not a fucking T-shirt. I don't own Vulcan ears, like Spock ears. I've never dressed up for Halloween as a Starfleet officer.
Really?
Yep.
This
No
is actually
toys,
genuine.
no
You've
gadgets.
never.
Yeah, no,
That's-
nothing. I own no merch. No merch. Now, I have an extremely extensive collection of all things Trek, like video based.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like proper media content. I own the complete series of everything that actually counts as Star Trek, which, in case you're curious, Weebo, is from the end of Star Trek Enterprise, the last episode, back. Anything after that is overwrought, pointless, overfunded corporate fanfic.
I think I can relate to what you're saying, but having never actually seen anything Star Trek-y except for the movies with Chris Pine, no frame of reference, of course. But I understand the pain, the deep emotional pain you're probably feeling.
Yeah, I mean, it is a thing of the new era where it is incumbent upon the fan of a genre to create your own headcanon. We've all suffered it. Name your genre. There's a good chance I'll probably be able to tell you where you had to cut something off because we live in current year.
Yeah.
You're a fan of Lord of the Rings? Oh shit, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, to name a currently extant example.
The Peter Jackson trilogy is mint. The Hobbits were fun.
And then there's the original like trilogy of books. There's the Hobbit.
Yeah.
There's the Silmarillion. Is that how you say it?
Silmarillion.
Yeah. Okay, so like there's the core material, and it's extensive and beloved for decades and so on. And then some corporate assholes got a hold of the IP and ran the fuck amok. It's painful. It happened with me with comic books. We did 100 episodes of comic book curation where we talked about it constantly.
I have a vent about comic books that I'll save for later. I'll like table it for later that I was bitching about earlier. But sorry. Yes. So we're talking about your nerdiness.
Daniel Fulman tangents. Polly has all the angles. Love it.
But
Love it.
Tagline.
Yeah. The because for Star Trek, obviously that means I'm talking about Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Picard, and although not a lot of people want to admit it because they're trying to look for something fun in it, Star Trek Lower Decks. Sorry, but it's true. So the only real Trek are the 13 films, the 3 films from the Kelvin timeline, which are the Chris Pine ones, which I like. They're not classic Trek, but they are Trek imagined as an action series, as an action genre. There's nothing wrong with them. I love Chris Pine as a young James Kirk. I think he's great. That was my worry. Everyone kept talking about Spock. Who's going to play young Spock? I was worried about who's going to play young Kirk. And I think Chris Pine rocks it, man. I think he does a great. I love Chris Pine. He does great like, in general. And as a young Kirk, he rocks it. So yay.
Nice.
And it's they notice how they didn't need to own it, like own the entire genre. That's what the weirdos do. To use some old timey terms, the SJWs come in. They always do, right? And they need to own the thing and say, no, this is the way it really is. Like Hulk has to be a Korean mathematician now. It's not Bruce Banner. I'm like, well, that would be somebody else. Why don't you just rename him? Like, come up with a different character who's, Jennifer Walters is very much She-Hulk. She's, Bruce Banner's cousin, et cetera, et cetera. Like how she came to be is and she's her own thing. Why don't you just do that? You can create another Hulk, and there have been multiple other Hulks as well. Why does this? Because we need to own your thing. Like, do you know what I mean? That's how Iron Man. It's like, no, it's now a 16-year-old black girl, and she's Iron Heart, and that is Iron Man. I'm like, the series is called Iron Man, but the character within it is a 16-year-old girl named Iron Heart, who's smarter than Tony Stark ever was. See how they always need to take it over and own it?
Mm-hmm.
Star Trek Discovery. Okay, Michael Burnham is now the captain, and she's the most beloved captain ever. There's no reason we've ever presented you in the show that everyone is so intensely loyal to her. She's earned none of the accolades that everyone is constantly throwing upon her.
She's literally
you're
the
best.
Mary Sue archetype.
Oh yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I read you the excerpt of the original Mary Sue?
Yeah.
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 And it was a Star Trek fan fiction.
It's true.
It's
Star
literally
Trek fans
that.
are the origin of the Mary Sue. It's a burden we bear. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
So
she's literally that archetype.
Yeah. So they need to take it over and own it. So that's why didn't you just do what they did in the Kelvin timeline with the 3 J.J. Abrams directed Star Trek films? It's a separate timeline. Something happened back in the day that altered time. Everything that you knew still exists. It's fine. It's still there. This is just a branch timeline that happened. Mm-hmm. What if? Great. Why do they always need to like destroy and own it and say that thing that you no this is it actually? Oh God, but it's not though. Oh, you're one of those far right wing trolls online, are you?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's me too. You don't love the 3 Star Trek or Star Wars sequel films? You don't love the Mary Sue that is Rey Skywalker, even though she's not related to them?
Returned.
Yeah, like it's just really poorly written. Luke is turned into like a cowardly old man for some reason because we need to make Rey look more courageous by comparison. It's like, well, that's a terrible way to do it. The only way you can make your main character seem courageous is by making older extant characters seem weak. You're a pretty shitty writer, Rian Johnson. Yeah, he is. Moving on.
Anyway.
So how did I get involved in it? Well, one time I'm over at the Star Trek Wiki, Memory Alpha. It is a huge fan effort where people have gone through the old magazines like Starlog, and where the interviews were done with the producers and the writers and the actors like from the 70s and the 80s and etc. Put all this work in to create this huge Wikipedia that's just about Star Trek. And then the assholes came. And every audience has their assholes. Where they attempt to take a universe and use it as a way of a fictional universe and take it as a way of promoting their ideology. There's commies there, Marxists there. They're all like, oh yeah, Star Trek is socialism in the future. Think about it.
Oh, that's spooky.
What is spooky?
It is spooky. Server 21, thank you very much for the $3. There's an old Vulcan proverb. Only Nixon can go to China. From Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country, my favorite Star Trek film.
You know that it's precisely from that?
Yeah, sure. That's Spock talking to Captain Kirk, where Kirk... It's a Cold War allegory, Star Trek 6. Very well done. One, as a thin of an allegory as it is to détente, the end of the Cold War, but it's very, very well done. So it works. It's Kirk, who's been fighting the Klingons forever. The Klingons always were the enemy. They had killed his son. A group of Klingons had killed his own son. And now he is being told to go as a special envoy to meet with the Klingons, and we are going to discuss peace and the dismantling of our military bases along our mutual border, et cetera, et cetera. The Cold War is over, basically. And Nixon famously, and a vicious anti-communist, worked as a lawyer for the House on Un-American Activities. He was a full-on Cold Warrior, Nixon. Nixon was the one who grabbed Kissinger, secretly came up with this plan, and went to communist China and opened diplomatic talks with them. Who else could have gone to China but the anti-communist? Because anyone else, it would have seemed like a stunt. Nixon must have actually been serious if he was willing to sit down with them. So who better for the Federation, for Starfleet particularly, to send to talk to the Klingons than Kirk, the man who's been fighting Klingons forever. He has every reason Do you see what I mean? So
Mhm.
Spock kind of half jokingly says with him in the way that he does, there's an old Vulcan proverb, only Nixon could go to China.
Huh.
Meaning like, why me of all people? You know why, Captain, is what he's saying.
Mhm.
You damn well know why.
That's very clever.
Yeah. There's so many little inside Cold War references in that are just fucking rocking. In any case, this is not a chance to display my nerdery. This is a chance to talk about how I actually fell down the rabbit hole to begin with.
You
I'm over at Memory
totally
Alpha.
displayed it, though.
Well, tangents off the rails.
Hey, guys,
with
by the
Weebo
way,
and
did
Polly.
you know that Polly was a nerd?
Yeah,
If you didn't, now you're sure.
yeah. Hey, I'm sure gamers can deal with it. I'm sure a lot of their favorite series have been taken over by fucking weirdos and included a bunch of bullshit that made no fucking sense.
Yeah, but I feel like when gamers have an issue with gaming, a big part of it has to do with them dealing with like microtransactions and buying games that are just like, resubmittals, republishings of the same old content, but like worse.
Yeah.
'Cause I've seen that sometimes, where they get the same game remastered. That's the word. Where they remaster a game and it looks like shit, comparatively speaking. We don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
As much, I wouldn't say, right? Because it's an entirely new body of work. They can't go back and remaster and then resell us the same hard copies of content that we already own.
Not in the way that you're describing, but in a broad sense, recycling old material that you already know and selling it back to you. Like, again, in a broad sense, that's exactly what happened with The Force Awakens.
Right.
It
and,
was
they've done that 8
plot
million
for Star Wars
times with
over again.
the Judas Contract storyline for Teen Titans. So, yeah, I'm aware. But I do like to see different authors and writers' take on it. Because I have seen it multiple times. And I've liked at least 2 of the renditions that I've seen. Like the Teen Titans Judas Contract movie for the DC animated universe, and then the Teen Titans Judas Contract storyline in the animated TV show. Both beautifully done, I think, personally. But they're the same storyline. They're recycling it, but they're doing it differently, like from a different perspective.
Not being a gamer, just to tangentize again.
Yeah.
I have looked at certain games that interested me, like, oh, I think this is a game I might like to play, that kind of thing. And then there was a remaster of it. Okay, let me watch the videos where they do a comparison. I'm sure you've seen them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's this scene from here and here. And again, not being a gamer, not looking to piss anyone off, sometimes the remasters are like, this is actually a really cool concept that this is even a thing that can be done. Because some of the games just, wow, it's the same game. You don't need to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I mean. It's like,
right.
did you love this game? Do you want to play it? Imagine that we had the rendering tech, whatever you want to call it, then that we do now. Well, why don't we just fucking literally remaster the game? The one that stands out to me is, again, as a non-gamer, the Assassin's Creed during the Revolutionary War period, because I'm a big buff of the Revolutionary War period, late colonial period in American history.
Is that the one with pirates?
Called?
Black Flag?
No, it's neither one of those. You know, it's like Assassin's Creed Rebundance, like whatever the fuck the name of it is, doesn't really matter.
Mirage, Valhalla, Odyssey, Origins, Black Flag, Unity, Syndicate. I've never actually played Assassins of the Creed.
I love that. That's great. Let's go with that. Yes. So in Assassins of the Creed, the Revolutionary War edition. It was just. So we got 2 people just saying it's just Assassin's Creed 3, and it's like, okay, cool, Assassin's Creed 3. Okay. I watched the remaster, and I would just love to run around in that world. I hope it's like big enough to support that idea of like you just go in there to fuck around. Like that's the way Red Dead 2 strikes me. I just because I'm a big fan of westerns, right, and frontier history and stuff. So just to be able to like run around and fuck around in that world, doing
Yeah.
endless side quests and getting all the little things, I would totally do that in Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
I'd like to think Assassin's Creed 3, the remaster, would be like that because I think it looks fucking gorgeous. But I've seen some people that have just now selling our old games back to us when we've already bought them is an offense at its heart. If you already bought, like let's say Assassin's Creed 3, the on Steam, and it's sitting there on Steam, you should be able to buy the remaster at a significant discount. I get what you're saying. I actually get that position. That doesn't seem unreasonable to me.
Because you already have the game.
Yeah, but
And all of the code behind it is just basically you're buying new skins to put on top of everything that you already have.
yeah, see what I mean? Like I get the position that they're taking, but then at the same time, I'm like, but you don't need to buy it. And then there's people that would buy it that had never played the original, but then they're saying, why not a discount? Yeah, like I said, I get the discount argument, but at the same time, I kind of understand why it doesn't happen. Ooh, Pop-Tart's here. I saw her there before. Hello.
Hey, Pop-Tart.
She's one of my, see? Pop-Tart's not fun-sized. She's just fun.
Good for her.
But, yeah, to explain to Pop-Tart so she knows what the fuck. Weebo had opined and observed that all of the lady friends that I know online all seem to be diminutive. And I said, no, Pop-Tart's normal-sized.
Hang on. Diminutive?
Small.
Okay. Because, like, it gives me demure vibes. Because it's a
Oh,
word.
no.
And I'm
no.
like, I am most certainly not.
No, you're not demure. At least not online.
Or
That's
in
for
real
Elbow Fando alone.
I am the person that you see here today in front of you offline. Like there's not a difference. I couldn't. I can't. I am always like the only difference is in the name that I go by. That's it. The rest is all just genuinely Weebo.
These which get pure Weebo unadulterated, uncut, not watered down.
Yep. Ranting Monkey is
So-
the one with the midget fetish. Why are we bringing up the midget fetish?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I make it over to Memory Alpha one time, right?
Right. So back
Right.
to your Star Trek story.
That started like 20 minutes ago or more.
Oh, no,
I-
it was at least an hour ago now at this point.
Really?
No,
Jesus
40
Christ.
minutes at tops.
Okay, so I make it over to there, and of all things, and I don't remember why, I made it to the page on Christmas tree.
There's a page on Christmas trees?
Correct. Anything that has ever occurred, this is the level of nerdery and effort that thousands of Star Trek fans have put into the Star Trek wiki, Memory Alpha, where there is the expanded universe stuff like novels and different things that aren't canon. It's called Memory Beta. And so like toys and et cetera, novels, toys, anything that's not canon, all goes on Memory Beta. Memory Alpha is for canonical canon stuff only, which means you need to be able to reference it to somewhere in canon that it happened.
Okay.
Right? And everything that's canon is all of the series, all 13 movies, plus the Kelvin Timeline films, all 3 of them. That's the canon. With the bonus exception of the 2 novels written by Jerry Taylor, the co-creator and longtime writer of Star Trek, who wrote 2 novels that were intended as the show Bibles for Star Trek Voyager. Little known fact, those 2 novels actually count as canon because they were written by a Star Trek writer to be.
Okay.
Any of the writers who come on Voyager, if you read these 2 novels, you will know the backgrounds of all of the characters as created.
Okay.
So that's why they count as canon. They're unique for that. But anyway, so was there ever a pizza in Star Trek? Yes, there was. That's why there's a page for pizza, and it's referenced to a specific time. They're all stub articles. They're real short. They just say Tom Paris ordered a pizza from a replicator, blah, 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 blah. That's it. That's how extensive that Wikipedia is.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Now, the Christmas tree one was quite long. And I thought, what? Why is it so long? This person went off into this long atheist diatribe about how it was from representing the Christian religion of the past. In the future, humanity has become either atheist or non-religious entirely. The only time that it comes up is in blah. It just went on for paragraph after paragraph. A reference to every atheist's favorite Star Trek episode from TNG, Who Watches the Watchers. Because people take Picard's words out of context and use them to say, see, Picard's an atheist. And it's like, no, just watch this complete scene where that happens, preferably the entire episode. He never expresses that he's an atheist. He just says he will not pretend to be a god. That's very much different.
Yeah, that's not what that means.
But we're talking about a very desperate group of people here. Not
Right.
all atheists. The ones that would go on a fucking wiki and attempt to project their bullshit. The same people that would probably fucking show up in internet forums just to yell and scream with their keyboard all day long about whatever.
Right, an internet warrior.
Yeah. Yeah, keyboard fighter for sure. And so I was like, okay, wait a minute. No. Not wanting to edit the page because anyone can just go click edit and then change it. And then the person who originated the page can just click the revert button. And it goes back to its original one. The person who wrote that stub on Christmas Tree to write all that was the creator of the page, which is really obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
It means you created that page specifically to go on this rant where no one could take it down. Anyone could alter it, but then you would just have to, you would get an email immediately that somebody had altered your article, and then you would just have to click the revert button and it would go back to the way it was before. And knowing that, it's the way it works on any wiki, generally speaking. I went to the talk page and appealed to the senior editors and wrote a long ass thing as to why this was off key, why it didn't fit into the wiki, why the reference to Who Watches the Watchers was misapplied. One, how it didn't make sense in context, and two, it doesn't belong in an article about a Christmas tree because there ain't no fucking Christmas trees in Who Watches the Watchers. It's only related to this guy's insistence that everybody in the future is a fucking atheist, to which I put in 3 or 4 references to humans speaking about their personal religious views. So it's no, all of humanity hasn't. So this is way off. This is an article that is someone using the fictional world of Star Trek to broadcast their personal ideological beliefs. And 2 things happened. One, the article was changed by the senior editors. To somebody else edited and cut out all that crap except for the original reference to there's actually 4 or 5 times that Christmas trees appear in the canon.
Yeah.
And it's usually incidental, but whatever. That's the whole point of short articles like that. And then an invitation to become an editor because you obviously you're a nerd. They didn't say that, but they said, yeah.
You know your shit.
Right. It's like, maybe you'd like to be an editor because one, you just didn't change it. You appealed to the senior editors and wrote out this long article. You should become an editor. And I was like, okay. And I have been since then. It's a little secret I've harbored.
Aww.
And you know what I do when I'm there? I don't write new articles. I just go around and stop people from doing what that guy did. Eat your fucking bullshit out of my fictional universe.
That's spooky.
I hunt down socialists on Memory Alpha. So that's become my job because that's the majority of it. Like, who are the people there broadcasting their shit? Feminists and socialists.
Huh.
So if you go off into a speech and attempt to make something about something that it's not, it's like, yeah, Trek is all sorts of things. It's all sorts of politics. It's all sorts of, it deals heavily with religion. And the DS9 is with the Bajorans and the Vedics and the prophets, the gods that or the wormhole aliens, depending on how you want to see it, that the Bajorans are all into. Deep religious themes throughout DS9. Okay, so there's lots to talk about there. But keep your bullshit out of my Trek. That's all I want.
Who watches the Watchers, says the smoking rat.
Serpent 21, thank you for the $3. I like that the original Kirk era Enterprise has a bowling alley referenced in the Naked Time. Also, the Klingons and Bajorans have gods. Religion is in Star Trek. Suck it, crybabies. Yeah, no shit. No, I totally agree. It's not they. That is classic Trek, Weebo. Is I know you don't watch a lot of Trek, so fine. It's the humans are there as a means of exploration of themes.
Yeah.
When they encounter other races, because we don't actually know aliens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Except for the government at Area 51, but that's a different story. Why won't they let us clap the cheeks? Anyway,
I can understand the idea behind Star Trek is to explore themes of humanity from the perspective of the observant humanity on other cultures, those being aliens that they engage with.
very well said,
Mhm.
actually. Yes, extremely well said. So it's like the Ferengi represent like greed in a huge way, and then the ways that greed can be, while obsessed with greed, you can still end up going away from it at times for just reasons, etc. Right? And the Klingons, the noble warriors, the noble savage, they have all about honor and whatnot, but in a highly technological era. The Romulans they're Romans, the twin planets of Romulus and Remus. I mean, come on. They're the head of the Romulan government is the Praetor. I mean, they very much are the Romans.
The Romans.
Yeah. It's
Roman history is fun to learn about.
I mean, they deviate from it. Like, it's not like constant, but it's clear that is like the core idea of who these different species are. Yeah.
Okay.
And you have the Bajoran religion is a very thin allegory to Catholicism. With they have Vedics, they have who are monks, they have different orders, they have like the list just goes on and on and on. It's organized very much like a very long-standing, few millennia old Catholic Church with their sacred texts, and the list goes on and on. The Cardassians, they're sort of like they're very much like a they're very much like communists, but not in terms of money, in terms of a military takeover of a society, and it has become the ultimate bureaucracy of paranoia.
Oh, fun.
Where it is a denouncement culture. There are secret police everywhere. And the highest thing that you can excel to is duty to the state, duty to the state. And to talk about lack of duty to the state is kind of a thought crime, if you know what I mean. It's replete throughout their literature, and they are very comfortable with this. It's a Byzantine worldview in terms of labyrinths of things. When a father is dying, one of their traditions is that he will say to his son, list off all the information he has to get his enemies. Here's all like the secret information, because the idea being is that everyone has enemies, and the worst thing that can happen is that your enemies outlive you and go unpunished. So you hand over to your son all the information you have about about everything you know, so your son can hopefully take vengeance for you
in your stead.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the Vulcans?
The best of reason, logic, orderliness, et cetera, et cetera. They're the writer who had the most to do with them was a former secretary of Gene Roddenberry, who ended up becoming a very strong writer in her own right, and then became ultimately script supervisor for the original series. She, most of their aesthetic, their look, and their religious practices, if you want, spiritual practices, if you want to call them that, are taken right from the Japanese. Their clothing is very, in terms of traditional garb of the nobility and of the samurai, layered cloaks over cloaks over cloaks, constant meditation, focus on the deliberate orderliness of everything. Yeah, she took it all right from Japanese culture. And then the whole idea of like the Vulcans in terms of their world look is like everyone knows is logic and reason and rationality and etc. Lack of emotion. That part of humanity is explored through them, and how that fails and how it's good. Yeah, Server 21, DC Fontana. I never did say her name. Dorothy Fontana went by DC Fontana. So when she submitted scripts back in the day, people would take them more seriously because it didn't have a woman's name on it. So she went by DC Fontana.
Oh, you think that tactic would work nowadays? Because like J.K. Rowling did the same thing. She went by J.K. Rowling instead of her real name because she's like, oh, it sounds more masculine that way. And so people thought, oh, J.K. Rowling, a dude. Do you think that would still fly? Or be as successful nowadays as opposed to back then? Or would it work?
I think anybody who does it,
contrast?
now attempts to do X instead of Y speaks much more clearly to. Have you ever heard the saying that's misattributed to not Robespierre, to political philosopher? Shit. This doesn't matter. The saying of to know who rules over you, simply find out who you're not allowed to mock or make fun of, or a variant thereof. And it's something that the original political philosopher, I'm trying to remember his name, never actually said. But it doesn't matter. It's an interesting idea. It's an interesting proposition. Who aren't you allowed to make fun of? I don't think it's who rules over you. It's an anachronistic saying anyway, because at the time it's like, who can't you make fun of? The jester is the only one who can make fun of the king, was the idea. Right. Now it's more a matter of to know who holds the moral high ground in a society and who uses those who hold the moral high ground for a talking point. Just find out who you're not allowed to make fun of.
Okay,
that makes more sense to me, in my opinion. In my opinion, I don't think it's a matter of who rules over you. In years past, that might have been the case. Today, no, because who can't you make fun of? Go ahead, crack a Jew joke, see what happens to you. Do the Jews rule over you? Only if you subscribe to conspiracy theories. Right. It's more who holds the moral high ground, and that's become thinner and thinner because look at all of the elected Democrats who have straight up on social media cracked Jew jokes, and what happened to them? Well, as long as the wagons were circled, they were fine, weren't they?
Right.
Looking at you, squad members.
As long as they were more morally compromised. No, not morally compromised, but as long as they were more of a morality target.
It was Voltaire. Thank you, JR. Thank you very much. That was driving me crazy. And Oatsan, Voltaire. Yeah. Is the one that saying is assigned to that didn't actually say it. But it's fine because it's a very, very interesting idea. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really worried that somebody who isn't well known didn't say it. If you know what I mean? It's like, is there something to take from it? In the case of that saying, I absolutely think so.
Okay.
Because I mean, oh shit, like who are you allowed to make fun of? The reversal of it also tells you a lot, because it tells you a lot about the moral high ground. Go on social media. What are you going to find? Non-stop, endless racism against white folks. So it is the moral high ground to be critical of quote unquote whiteness. That is the moral high ground. Take a look at the amount of academic books that are published from extremely reputable academic publishers. University of Oxford Press, University of Cambridge Press, University of Georgetown. Books that like 20 years ago would have been wild that anybody would have even sent in a treatment for such a book, like a proposal to write such a book. But now they're textbooks, like the deconstruction of whiteness and white supremacy. And it's like, what? And it's claiming that it's everywhere in every institution throughout all societies on Earth, except they don't mention, fuck, India, China, anywhere in South America. Like,
they're distinctly lacking in the rest of the world. That is always something that I've always found interesting, and I've made a few touches on it in videos, specifically in the Halloween specials of like, we so hyper focus on the European nations and their influence on the rest of the world and how much that has affected us to this day, but we very much neglect the influence of the rest of the world on the rest of the world. And that mean like I'm talking like China on the rest of the world, Japan on the rest of the world, other Asian countries on the rest of the world, other African countries on the rest of the world. And it's irritating because there is so much else that people and other nations and other continents have contributed to what we currently exist in today, and yet we don't pay attention to that. And probably part of that is because obviously we live in a Western society very much influenced by who's coming in, predominantly who's coming in, and who was coming in at different times is a lot of European society, and so that's all that we're getting. But then to go back and say, to rework that as all that we know, it is all evil because it's all that we know, or it's all malicious because it's all that we know, is a gross oversimplification of how history works. I think. Am I making sense?
I would tend to agree with that, but these are people that the people that will take such a position are individuals that are claiming precisely to not do that and not have a worldview where they are being ethnocentric, and in this like focused upon a given ethnicity, ethnocentric, and that word in and of itself, I always feel the need, especially on campus, to say it because ethnocentric means Eurocentric, synonymous terms, and it's like, no, they're not. They're not. Like, if you are in China, it's a very ethnocentric nation. If you are in Japan, it is a very ethnocentric nation, and that does not mean they're focused on Europe.
I would say yes for Japan, not so much for China, because it's like 1.4 billion people. Yes, they're all under the Chinese government, but if you go to rural sections of China, they have countless different dialects in all these different regions, and in parts of them they're like completely removed from Beijing, Hong Kong in how they operate. Like, yes,
I hear you.
they're all in one nation, but it's so
the point
large.
being is that it's not Eurocentric.
Right, it's not Eurocentric.
I mean, I hear you. The government is absolutely dominant. The CCP is absolutely dominated by ethnic Han Chinese. The Szechuan are not thought of outside of China as being a separate region, and it's like they have their own dialect and their own history and their own culture. China always has been a collection of states.
Right.
We don't, only those who bother to study it, and I'm not saying I'm one of them. I'm not at all. I've met people that have made China their like from the history department, for example. It's their thing. It's their area of study.
You could just spend your entire life learning about China.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't even come close to complete understanding of everything.
The first criticism that I hear from them, well, I shouldn't say the first. A criticism I consistently hear from them, whether they're Asian or not, by the way, is China's the world's oldest continuous civilization. And he's like, I have heard, especially this one girl, she gets so mad at that because it's like, you are taking the word civilization, defining it as you want to make a point, and I don't know what for. What is your point in saying that? That China, the geographical region that we call China, has a really old history to it? Well, yay. Thanks for the really deep point. You haven't said much, but people feel like they're saying a lot or making a big, gosh, she goes off on it. She gets so mad because it's like continuous civilization. What? Like, you can look at what's been going on the banks of the river Tiber and say that is an extremely old civilization. Look, people are still there. Why? Because the village, then hamlet, then town, then eternal city of Rome was founded on the banks of the River Tiber, and it goes back to the Paleolithic era. People living there, is that a continuous civilization? People say no.
No.
There is such a thing understood as the fall of Rome. Well,
Rome today
yeah,
is not the same Rome that it is 3,000 years ago.
right. And I am willing to accept is her argument, and she was persuasive to the point of being convincing, that give me your definition for civilization and then we'll go with that. I'm willing to accept whatever definition you want to run with, until you're running with like 5 different definitions and applying them unequally in different places.
Mm-hmm.
Where Rome, here's one definition. It has to be continuous government, continuous language, continuous system of weights and measures, etc. And that's why here's these clearly identifiable breaks. Do you know what I mean? And then society, a different civilization would build up in that same place, etc. So if you apply that to China, China's had like, no, it's not the world's oldest continuous civilization. And most recently
within the last 100 years, specifically for the Halloween special. And then
Right.
I was like, fuck. That's a lot. Because it is.
Fuck. No, it absolutely is. Like the Warring States period. Wait a minute. Why do we have, and this is her point. I'm like, oh, Jesus, that's a very good point. I know the Warring States period because I had to learn in and around the historical context to do a course in and around Swanza. They insisted on us calling it Sun Tzu, who existed and was around during the Warring States period. And it's why is that its own period? Because it has clearly identifiable beginning and end points. You know what I mean? It's like Japan when they go through, like, here's the Tokugawa era and the Toyotomi era prior to that, the shogunate, and then following the Meiji Restoration. I'm sure I butchered that word. And then which was feudal Japan up until the end of World War II, and for obvious reasons that caused a break. There no longer was an emperor, etc. And it's like, yeah, Japan is old as shit, but clearly identifiable breaks can be there. Stop looking at China as a monolith. And all of this is just riffing off of your point, Weebo, that it's not a monolith.
It's not.
And
really
it
isn't.
never has been. When you look at it like that, it's very simplifying and insulting. And it let's leave out this entire monolithic civilization and just talk about how white supremacy is everywhere. Really, white supremacy dominates in this really complex, multi-state, 1,000-year-old tradition history area known as China currently. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's you are supposed to be the person, the good white person, because it's always white people writing about this stuff.
It really is.
When at least it is, I'm going off of personal stuff. Like when I think about the professors that would that would be the most critical of it.
Well, it's, I think, partially because they have a lot of internal white guilt. Because it's been beaten into them so erroneously. Again and again and
sort of,
again.
I think it's partially. I think it's also a path to power.
Virtue signaling for the sake of climbing to the top of the progressive stack. Because
yeah, I heard a great line only like a couple months back. Vanity morals. And I was like, oh, Christ, that's so good.
Well, because, I mean, if you don't have the immutable characteristics to climb to the top of the stack, you got to get there somehow else, and vanity morals kind of acts as a good, like, mask with which to get there. Which to.
I mean, I sent you a link, and I cannot think of a better singular example of it happening to someone that we actually know, and it happening in real time. Yeah. So I sent you like a copy of this. You should show it on screen so we can mock this idiot.
Yeah. Let's see if I have the thing preloaded. Cocktail Hour News. Do. Ignore my muffin searches.
So here it is.
Looking up stuff.
So your boy Pat, tweets this out. If wearing a t-shirt that says hashtag White Lives Matter is racist and dangerous, according to tons of you Twitter idiots screeching like children, what do you think hashtag Black Lives Matter has been all this time? If anything, Kanye just proved you're all hypocrites trying to get your way. If anything, he just proved you're a bunch of hypocrites trying to get your way. I think there's an actual point there, like a solid point that Pat's making.
Right.
White lady comes out of nowhere and tells Pat what? Dear no name, let me help you. Education. Whites are not a minority group in the U.S. Stay in school. #privilege. #denial. #ignorance. At Pat, this was sent.
I love
Quiet, blackmail. Let me explain to you how oppressed you actually are. I understand this. You have privilege, denial, and ignorance. You best stay in school. Now, like I said, it's going back to the line from supposedly Voltaire. Who are you allowed to make fun of and who aren't you? And it's not just about who you're not allowed to make fun of, but like who you can get on board with. This lady has clearly found a path to power, speaking on behalf of a certain group of people that are unassailable. And even when one of those people, i.e. Pat, says something I think is a good point, it's a critical point, a make you think point, she comes out and says, no, you're a racist, you're ignorant. Because it allows her to take the moral high ground, even though she's in no fucking position whatsoever to be making the point she's making.
Yeah, but
Classic.
I feel like this is also like, it's got to be a copy paste post or a bot, maybe. I don't know. Just like preloaded. She's got this on retainer for whoever she wants to spout it off at. Like whoever has, for specifically anyone who writes in the White Lives Matter hashtag, she's got this preloaded on her phone. She just got copy pasted, put these 4 little infographics up, and then she's like, I did my white due diligence today. I can rest easy, fellow white people. Don't you worry.
When I read this, my first thought was, this has got to be a bot. That was my first reaction, because this can't be real. If you know what I mean. And so I clicked and I scrolled for a good 5 minutes plus, which, when you're scrolling through Twitter can go quick, because people that are highly active on Twitter, most of their stuff is retweets. Right. And it's tough to tell the difference between a bot that does nothing but retweet, and then some bots are very good with the occasional comment, which is really just algorithmed into existence, bland comment. But the majority of it is, and I don't think she's a bot. But I do think I agree with you, Weebo. Cut and paste is what I ended up guessing. I mean, there's no way to know, but it's
leftist activist, which tracks with what I know about them.
And the amount of times that she called people no name, like, I have a name, you don't, and there's like an attempt at, oh, you got pwned, like, there's an attempt at, like, young people Twitter talk here from the sad old white lady.
Yeah.
It's true though. You know what I mean?
Well,
I'm one of the good white people, and it's like, really.
We can do this experiment at die trying _ no name. See how many times she frequently does this. No, she's definitely not a bot. Latest. Let's do Dear No Name. So we can very easily find out how often she copy pastes this. Oh no, it looks like she makes all these original. Dear No Name, Dear No Name, Dear No Name, Dear No Name bot.
You see what I mean? The Dear No Name thing?
Yeah.
It's a constancy. Yeah, and your boy Pat's like, it was an attempt to get my real name so they could try and tell on me. I hadn't thought of that. My name is fuck you. That's interesting. I hadn't considered that.
This has got to be like what she does.
Yeah.
Dear No Name Twitter bot.
An attempt to prove that you're real, so you come back and say some shit about yourself, either your actual name or something identifying, and then the swarm. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it tells you a lot when you got like hashtag White Lives Matter and then hashtag Black Lives Matter. Ooh, it's got its own multi-fist emoji that automatically comes up. That speaks volumes, doesn't
It
it? When
does.
corporate publicly traded company is in support of your thing, who are you not allowed to make fun of? And whom is it advantageous to line up with? I don't. What is it to say black people rule over us, according to the Voltaire saying? No, that's clearly not it. It's about paths to power.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see who occupies the moral high ground at a given point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, the opinion of the masses is inevitably what puts people into power. Even if we're not in a democracy, the king only rules at the behest of its people so long as his interests aligns with them. If the people suddenly rise up because they're like, hey, we're not getting taken care of, you know, things start to fall. We saw this with the French Revolution. People were not getting taken care of, and so they obviously were like, divine right? Fuck that noise. You're out of here.
Yeah.
So yeah, given enough outrage, I don't know if would you call it moral if people are starving necessarily? I mean, I feel like yes, but when I think moral, it's definitely got a heavier context behind it.
Yeah, I mean, I do get on board with the that's why I get on board with the path to power thing,
Mhm.
which is inherently vague, but it how did we get on all of this actually?
I have
The
no
the
idea.
tangent I do remember it was J.K. Rowling and
Yeah.
D.C. Fontana
Yes.
to go with a generalized name, so therefore somebody would very possibly assume that they were males, so they could avoid any sexist content. The amount of times that this experiment has been replicated, whereby somebody will submit an article under the name James Smith or whatever, some Anglo name, right?
Yeah.
And then will resubmit under an ethnic sounding name. So a stereotypical black name, like Shaniqua, something that has apostrophes in the middle of it. And then a last name that is not always, but predominant, very common, I should actually say, amongst black folks. Washington, Jackson, etc. Crooms, very common
Yeah.
amongst the African American demographic to have that last name. So when you got, Shaniqua Crooms submitting an article, you're going to take a guess, and those articles invariably get published when they didn't before. What does that tell you? That's part of a path to power.
Thank you for your patronage.
So what you're saying
Because
is I should publish
no-
my book underneath the name Shaniqua Washington when I eventually get around to it.
You are more likely to get the notice of a publisher, yes. And in academics, it's publisher perish, like talking about peer-reviewed journals. That's the way that they were doing it that I'm referencing are through peer-reviewed journals.
Yeah.
It's the same identical article word for word, but then published. Simply because of the name of the author. And it's because diversity, inclusion, and equity has become the thing on campus and the thing in the
Publishing.
corporate world.
Yeah.
It's like diversity and inclusion officers. Like, wait, what? Those already existed. Like boards at every university I had ever attended before diversity and equity became like a mantra, where there were absolutely ombudsmen to go complain to if you felt every single syllabus I had ever received at any time since like the first class I took said, this university is an equal opportunity university, and if you sense that there has been any et cetera, there is an outside the faculty place to go where it is done anonymously and they list it, and it's been in every single syllabus. So what is going on with the further layer? Well, that's how deep the sexism, racism, bigotry, transphobia, all of the ists and isms are, that we actually need bodies to actively seek these things out, not wait till incidents are found, but seek out incidents. Hey, guess what? If you go seeking out something, assuming that it's happening, you will find it.
Observer bias.
Yeah. You will find it whether it's there or not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a reason at the last campus I was at, luckily not at this one, they had BORS, bias incident response teams.
We had one at my university too.
Shocking.
I'm not kidding.
For all y'all who don't know what that is, okay, first of all, I envy you. So, and that's not a joke. Yeah, I really do. So let's say they would roll around, and I mean that, like 4 or 5 of them as a posse. They were and walk around campus, especially on student centers, anywhere where anyone gathers, clubs, different things like that, and look for incidents of bias where there aren't enough individuals that aren't white shown on a poster. Like it'll show like a white person on a poster alone, and they'll say, "Why did you use a white person?" Or if there's 3 people there,
Oh, they
if 2 of them are white and 1 of them is Asian,
I don't
it's
think
like that would be.
that
At the last campus I did, they did.
It was it was for more serious incidences, like I don't know, like if someone got into a fight and it happened to be between like someone of color and someone not of color, bias incident response team was like there.
Sure.
They
Yeah.
were an advocate.
Yeah. The any time that the posters were up everywhere to advertise for their services, air quotes, where if you were a student of color, a SOC, and you were making any issue out of anything. So I don't believe that my paper was graded well enough. I'm just going to go talk to the TA during their office hours, just like not about complaining about a grade that you received or anything of that sort, just for help with your paper. Do you understand what like just anything? Anytime you were talking to anybody in any power relationship whatsoever, they would go along with you to be your advocate. The bias incident response teams.
That's closer to what they were there for, I think.
It's advocacy for any student of color, which also extended to trans individuals and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
That's really condescending. It was always my take on it, because like as a TA and someone who taught courses, the idea that what was I going to do to them when they came to my office hours, that you have to have as one of those, you have to designate office hours for where they can come ask questions or get help with their papers or ask questions about why they did so poorly on the test and they don't think that it was fair, or that was rare. But mostly it was just, I need help with this paper, the research isn't coming together and I'm running out of time, and those sorts of things. I don't know what it was they thought I was going to do. You were not allowed to close the door. That was one of the standards, because you as a male are going to, in a power relationship, are going to do something to a female student who approaches you, like to your office hours. And it was an absolute standard across the campus. You are not allowed to close your door. I remember when one student asked me, "Can we close the door?" And it's not because she had anything that she didn't want heard said. That wasn't it. Motherfuckers were out in the hallway being loud. That's all. There was a reason she "Can I close the door?" And I said, "Actually, no." And she said, "Wait, what? Why?" And I said, "It's a standard that we all have to sign on to. It's part of our contract that we're not allowed to close the door." And saucer eyes, like bug eyes. She went, "Really?" Expecting me to say, "I'm just kidding." And I'm like, "No, I'm not kidding. We have to leave the door open."
I feel like that's actually a decent policy to adhere to. Not just because like the professors and the TAs are not trustworthy, but because also it protects them from the would-be student who would make a untrue claim against their professors or TAs, because we know that's happened before. I mean, isn't there, like, who is it that refuses, like, it's a senator, I think. Is it Ted Cruz who doesn't visit with members of the opposite sex without his wife present.
Oh,
To
Ted Cruz very well might say that, but I remember the first person who said that and got fucking shots fired at him over
Ninja
it.
actually is the same way.
It
The Twitch
was
streamer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ninja does that?
And there was
Mike
pushback
Pence was the
galore.
first one to say it, and he got
Was it Mike
shots
Pence?
fired at him. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
To the-
It
that-
was Mike
at
Pence.
the
I'm
time.
sorry. Not Ted Cruz. You're right. That was who I
Ted
was
Cruz
thinking
might
of.
follow it too. I don't know, but Pence is, he's like, I will not have meetings with females without other people present. I will not have business lunches with females for the same reason. And they went after him. It's like, you religious crazy person, like, and it's like, what are you so afraid of inside of your marriage? And it's like, that's not it at all. It's the reasons that we've been talking about.
Right, because, Me Too allegations are such a thing. It's, rather based. Oh, hi, Real. How you doing? Yeah, so Ninja does it. I know that, okay, so Mike Pence does it. So it's if you're a guy and you are concerned about that being a problem, because you think that certain students or faculty or what have you will have it out for you and misconstrue things, because there are busybodies everywhere. Moral busybodies ready to tear down anyone they deem as competition everywhere and turn everything into something or the other, then it is a good policy to get behind, because it protects you just as much as it would hypothetically protect the student in a situation where they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about protection after the Lindsay Shepherd thing happened at Laurier University in Canada?
She recorded the meeting with her academic advisor, I think you're right.
Her Inquisition board. Yes.
I remember that.
Yeah, her academic supervisor, the diversity and inclusion equity officer was there, and then I forget who what the third person's position was, but Jesus Christ, you violated you violated departmental law, departmental rules, you violated faculty rules, you violated state and federal law. Well, not in Canada, you violated provincial and federal law. And wow, you brought her to tears. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I think so. I remember I listened to the whole fucking thing, like as a standalone. Like academically, I was interested in it, and plus the shock.
That,
She put the whole recording up, and I went and listened to the whole fucking thing. And I'll never forget his name, Rembukana. That son of a bitch just grilled the shit out of his own. You threw your own supervisee under the bus. You were supposed to be their advocate, at least moderately in the center on these things. And you weren't. You were her. You didn't even qualify as an interlocutor. You were an inquisitor. It was a grilling. Like, do you understand why what you did was wrong? That it would be the same as like playing. But it was on the news. All I played was the publicly available news that anybody could have seen outside of me having played it. It was on the public airwaves for anyone to see. So any one of these students could have seen it at any time. So I don't understand the difference. The difference is you didn't contextualize it
appropriately.
It would be like playing a speech from Adolf Hitler without contextualizing it. In history class, they obviously play speeches from Adolf Hitler, but they contextualize it. And Jordan Peterson, I remember his video, he certainly had something to say about that. It's like, you just coupled me with Hitler. And he did, Rembukana did. Despite what he said, in response, he goes, no, that's not actually it. That's not what I meant. No, motherfucker, it absolutely is. And what is it you do online? Or what does he do as a research field, Rembukana? He studies racism and the alt-right online, specifically the work of Jordan Peterson and then really popular, what's his name?
Well, while you're thinking, I'm going to read
Excessively Gay Man used to be the tech consultant for Breitbart News. Went on to do his Milo Yiannopoulos.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had written articles and books about him. That was that guy's research area and his shtick. Gee, I wonder why he had such a problem with his own student showing somebody as going to pull the skirt up on this bullshit as Jordan Peterson was.
All right. I'm going to take this pause to read this Streamlabs from Serping21. Because he donated 11 minutes ago, and, So with Musk taking over Twitter, we'll see fast food places get applications with all the commies that got fired. Maybe they should be like Weebo and learn to code. Weebo is lovely, has personality, a real job, and loves geek culture. No wiki vandalizing here. No, don't tell them to learn to code. I like having my job security.
Yeah, I don't
They
need the
can-
competition, and I don't need a bunch of Marxists suddenly getting hired and complaining about the racism going on in the fucking lunchroom.
Well, okay, so they wouldn't be that much competition because I still have years on them in experience. If they start now, they would never catch up to me, because I'm just 2 years ahead at the very least in terms of actual real world application. But
Excuse me, you're white. You got your job exclusively through your white privilege. You stole the job from a coder of color.
But I am a female STEM
A
person.
white female. Okay.
I
Privilege.
identify as an indigenous person of color on my mother's side through her adoptive parents. Yeah.
Right. There are these things, Weebo, you need to educate yourself, called intersections of oppression.
Right, and I am
Okay, and
hitting
there are
all of those
people that
intersections.
there are people that are more oppressed than you, no matter what.
I don't know.
Okay, so
I feel like as a woman, you being a
There-
man explaining this to me, I feel very oppressed right now in this space. So you might want
Turning
to just...
around ideas like that and rejecting it is another example of white supremacy. These are tricky words.
Polly, are you mansplaining privilege to me, a female?
I'm
in STEM?
attempting to be a proper liberal and to understand
You're not being a
the
good
oppressions
ally,
that other-
Polly.
Staying in your position is an ongoing act of theft.
I'm gonna need you
I'm
to
sorry.
stay in your lane. All right.
What?
Your lane being that of a white man in academia who has the higher power dynamic in this situation because by virtue of the fact that you are a white man in academia.
See, all you have done is display your ignorance of the oppression that many coders of color undergo every day. I am not in a position of power over you.
Are you speaking on behalf of all people of color, including myself, who identifies as a person of color?
I'm speaking as a woke individual that understands the avenues of oppression apparently better than you, and you need to educate yourself. I have some books that you should read.
As a pink and white, yellow person of color, I feel very, very attacked right now. And I do not appreciate the hostility and microaggressions that you are citing here as we are conversating in this
Pat
my
listening
safe
to this,
space.
just like listening to these two white folks fight it out over who understands the oppression of people, not them, better, therefore wins. I just...
And this is exactly how I would imagine this conversation to go. In an online space on Twitter. This is like precisely how that happens, how that pans out between two woke AF people who just want to one up the other one.
See what I mean? It's like,
oh, I love the infighting.
It is a quick, scrambling fight to the top of Moral Mountain. I can get to the fucking summit before you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get to point my finger down at you and be, haha, you know, it's racist.
Got him.
Yeah.
All right, so chat, who do you think won the microaggressions war? Let us know in chat.
So let me tell you, Polly has a job. 3.
Does YouTube count as a job?
No.
No, so that's just a hobby that pays for itself.
Yeah, you should see doing my taxes. That's a bitch.
That's why I have an accountant, because I too have complicated taxes.
What did I say about privilege? She has an accountant, chat.
He's the family accountant.
Oh, it's the family accountant. They have old money, so they have everyone. There's one person to do it.
No, I prefer if it's okay. No, I prefer that it doesn't sound like we're rich. It sounds, well, okay, this is kind of part and parcel, but it sounds like we belong to the mob. I prefer that take on it because it sounds more intimidating.
Oh, like, oh, none of us won. Yeah, no kidding. We all lost. Really badly. We all lost a long time ago, unfortunately.
Smoky Rat says fun-sized people won the microaggressions war, so I'm gonna take that. No, the family accountant is literally just, he has done my grandparents' accounts on both sides for years. My father's, now mine and El Boyfriendo's, so the family accountant. And that everyone takes their business to him because we're familiar. We trust the man. He's smart. He knows what he's doing. Oh, Weebo is one of those Joneses.
Sam says, I tell you you're wrong, Polly, but as an oppressed immigrant of color, I don't owe you my labor. That has always been one of my truly favorite claims. I will not enact the emotional labor to explain your bigotry to you. The idea of emotional labor and enacting it, I have had it unironically said to me on campus. You are demanding emotional labor from me that I will not give you. What? You made a positive assertion, was my response. The onus of proof is on you.
Right.
And she said, where are you getting that from? I said, from the days of Athens, it's been the rule of logical discourse that the person who makes the positive assertion has the onus of proof. You know what she actually said back to me? Take a guess.
Something to the effect of, I don't adhere to Western ideals of.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
She brought up the West in its entirety. That she said the West is replete with oppression and imperialism, and to bring that up isn't helping your case. And it's like, wait, I didn't make, and I did say back to her, I didn't make the case. That's where you're getting lost. You made the case. That's what making a positive assertion is. You are asserting thing. I can't prove my side of it because that would require me to prove a negative, which in this situation I can't do.
You know, if you go far enough west, eventually you hit east. That's the response to that.
What? Yeah.
Yeah. Directions are relative to where you are on a map, so technically you're central, wherever it is that you are.
I heard a guy online one time say, I forget the context of it, but it was great. Somebody's just was, I will not be subjected to the Socratic interrogation. And it's like, actually it's called the Socratic method. It's not an interrogation, and you're willingly going into it because you believe your position is substantially justified, that what could possibly go wrong here, right? That's the idea of being willing to answer the questions of the Socratic method,
Right.
To uncover underlying premises. Like, why do you believe what you believe?
The
That's
bots
the
are
whole point of
here.
Socratic. Yay!
Sam, you summoned them.
Well, Sam, when he showed up, was wondering if the sex bots had shown up yet,
Right,
and
but
they hadn't. But here they are. You brought them. Thanks.
Yeah. Or maybe it was Zombie Teddy.
The person actually replied to them that, well, the Greeks stole it all from African teachers, and I will not sit here and listen to you insult the African creators of these systems of thought.
Oh, yes, I love that. It's either I will not submit to the Western ideals and white supremacy of this kind of thought, or you guys stole it from us originally. I don't have to engage with you thus.
But and there inlay the thing. It's like you can't win that way. And
So literally, it's
like,
just
it was stolen from you.
la 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 la. I don't want to hear it. Go away.
You stole this from us, and I was like, oh, right, races are giant team sports now, but you just solidified its validity by saying you stole it from us. Oh, so you think it's valid? Then by all means, adhere to your own system. You can't win that way, dummy.
So, to kind of like retread something that we talked about earlier about the closing of the door, and like not doing that to make sure that no one's accused of anything sketchy. I've actually had people I know, like personally, in real life, that had like been accused of that shenanigans, and probably would have done better to not have been in those situations with women. Like, been accused of some false behaviors, and then have them report it to a whole bunch of people, and then go, yeah, if only I hadn't been with, like, them by myself, this never would have happened. I would have never opened up myself to that. And so I go through life, and, like, I've warned my cousins of this. I've warned my brother of this. Like, if you're gonna date online, be super freaking careful, because women are sketchy nowadays. They lie a lot.
You hear that, Sam?
Make shit
Women
up.
nowadays are sketchy and lie a lot.
Well, I mean, everyone's sketchy, but for whatever reason, I hear about it more, and maybe it's just because I'm, like, older and more in tune with the world. But I hear a lot more about women who bullshit about men and falsely accuse them of things and pretend like they were assaulted or beat up or violenced against when that didn't in fact happen. Entirely too many times. And it puts me on edge for my brother, my male cousins who are currently, as we speak, in the dating scene, seeking love. And it fills me with apprehension, because I've seen what it does to gentlemen, these accusations, how it can ruin their lives, how it can absolutely devastate them, their family, etc., etc. And I'm hesitant to be like, yeah, sure, go ahead, go do your thing. Be free, child. And not go like, well, let me go on a date with you and the woman that you met on Tinder just to make sure that she's a good one. Because, like, you know, the era of the chaperone, the moment that it went out the window, seemed like the worst possible thing for the dating scene. It's scary, Polly. Did I just black pill this whole stream?
No, I don't think you black pilled it.
Oh, she's back. It's not working.
Oh God! To describe the dating scene in that way, that was depressing.
Well, yeah.
It's like I want to be like, you're so fucking wrong, but she's not.
I'm not.
And it's not so much accusations in like a legal context or whatever the fuck, right?
Like, rumors will even just kill you.
Yeah, but they will. But beyond even that, one can Google it, but you shouldn't. You should DuckDuckGo it. The news stories that a bunch of different news outlets ran with a study that came out that they were all like, what, really? You know, because it's a study's only interesting if it's saying something that's interesting, if you know what I'm saying. Like, there's lots of studies, psychology studies that are published constantly. From a therapist, she is female and she deals with a lot of male patients, because whatever, it happens, that male patients have repeatedly reported that dating is difficult because they don't want to approach a woman, and it's not in one context, but in all of the contexts whereby one might approach a woman. An email, a written letter, a DM, you name it, right? Because they don't want to appear as, and they all use the same word, creepy.
Yeah.
Thank you for your patronage.
I saw that story come up multiple times, like on Twitter. I saw people retweeting it, and I saw it in my own news feeds and stuff like that. And I'm like, this grabs everyone's attention. And I'm like, why? I'm sorry, go ahead and read that donation.
Yeah, thank you, Serpent21, for the donation. No, you didn't black pill it, Weebo. Just don't coach red pill it. That's awful. I won't call women dogs. I promise. Because there are some... hashtag not all. There are some good ones out there. But let's not pretend like there aren't an awful lot of bad ones out there. And this goes for men as well. Like, there are a million... For every virtuous soul, there's probably 10 not-so-virtuous souls, or whatever. The reverse is true, too. I could not even begin to quantify it. People are shitty in a lot of cases, and that sucks. And, you know, not everyone is shitty on their face. Sometimes it takes a very toxic combination of two people to make both of them shitty towards each other, and that is true as well. And sometimes that's not the case. And sometimes people are just, like, in harmony with each other, and nothing ever is wrong. I very much think that, one, you have to find the right person to be with, and that takes a lot of weeding out of people that you're not correct with. But in so doing, you are taking a risk, a lot of risk, of trusting a person to not be batshit crazy with you, and they are taking a lot of risk trusting you to not be batshit insane as well. So it very much is like diving off the deep end into the dating pool, which is why I'm not envious of anyone who has to navigate that situation in the current day. I'm glad I'm out of it. I'm glad I'm out of it for forever. I couldn't imagine going back in. I don't want to. So I hope not to black pill people, but at the same time I'm like, exercise caution. All right, maybe Tinder's not the best place for you to find somebody, because there are a lot of crazy people on there for whatever reason. Social media obsession is a thing, and it has this tendency to just like flip a switch for everybody to make them absolute nutcases. So maybe if you're gonna find somebody, gravitate towards places that you enjoy, is a good rule of thumb, and whoever happens to be there, strike up a conversation with them, see if maybe they are interested in being your life partner. You will have probably similar interests and most likely similar personalities. That's my philosophy. I met a boyfriend Doe at gaming club in high school. Like, it wasn't just by happenstance. We both had to be in the same place at the same time, doing the same thing. It doesn't just happen. Anyway, sorry, you were saying, Polly. Actually, wait. Streamlabs from the next 6 minutes who donated $1 to say, it's a bit depressing that I'm more reluctant to re-enter the dating scene now than I was, say, 7 years ago. I just know more about the kind of shit that can go down. Yeah. It sucks. I'm sorry. Okay, now Polly, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
Or yeah, you could be like Sam and get into the trap scene as well. Smoking Rat, there is an element of nihilism to the overall discussion of relationships and the pursuit thereof, at least from my perspective. I can understand being jaded after so many years and so many experiences that have led one to be that way. I'm pretty sure that's where my dad kind of is. Yes, he is dating his second ex-wife, so while it's different for him in that he's probably not going to get remarried to her, he still is pursuing a relationship with her, and they're still, for all intents and purposes, acting like a married couple. So to each their own, I think I would say. You have to be comfortable with the decisions that you want to make and be able to live with them and whatever potential consequences that come with them.
Yeah, you've just depressed me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I didn't mean to depress anybody or black pill anybody. I wanted to inform my gentleman audience of being cautious in the dating scene as they pursue relationships going forward. I feel a moral responsibility to them to be like, hey, bitches be crazy. Don't be careless. That was what I wanted to do, but it seems that I have just ruined everything. I'm one of those bitches. I ruined everything. Oh gosh.
Oh my god.
I'm the worst. Can't help it. I just, you know, like how I ruin jokes, I ruin the vibe. I ruin movies. I'm just a ruiner, Polly. I'm gonna change my Twitter handle to Weebo the Ruiner. No longer am I the tech hobbit. So anyway. All the plutonic love. Indeed. So we have roughly 11 or so minutes before we hit the 2-hour mark, Polly. Shall we open it up to question time then? Since I've depressed the heck out of you?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So chat, that means you can ask us whatever the heck you want in the next 10 minutes, and we will do our best to answer them. Keep in mind the fact that Polly and I have a tendency to tangent quite frequently. Quite on accident. It's like a reflex, I think. Just happens. Neither of us can explain it. It how be we. English is a struggle.
It's how things go down. It's
Yeah.
just the way that it is. Yeah.
It's how be we. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. Barista Weebo here making depressos and Cepuccinos. Am I saying that right, Austin? Ostsan. Polly, did you ever check the toaster cum tray at college? Yes, Polly. How is the toaster faring?
As far as I know, it's fine. I will toast whatever I damn well please in there. And yeah, I haven't toasted anything recently, but I will continue to toast any mayo sandwich that I want. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get fancy bagel cream cheese?
Do you mean, do I personally like buy them?
Like if you were to toast a bagel, right, and you
Yep.
were to eat the bagel, and you were to put cream cheese on the bagel, would you put fancy cream cheese on the bagel?
Sure.
What kind of fancy cream cheese?
I like the urban garlic one is pretty good. Even the fruity ones aren't bad. I'll go with any old one. One thing I found that you can go with the light cream cheese, and if you do the urban garlic one, I have no idea that it's not light. It's only when it's plain that I would notice a difference.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That makes sense. Do you get spread or you get whipped cream? Whipped cream cheese.
I think it's most spread.
Okay. Brick or tub?
Tub.
Makes sense. I think I saw one from Austin who asked if you could make it as a basic programmist. I mean, you can if you put your heart and soul into it. I can't see why you wouldn't be able to make it. You just gotta do the thing. That's literally it. Just do the thing, and the rest will follow. Like, that's my advice for most people who are like, "Can I do the thing?" And I'd be like, "Yes, just do the thing." Like, first you actually have to do the thing. Fuck up at doing the thing. Get really good at practicing how to do the thing that you fucked up at so that it's perfect, and then you can do the thing. And that's how you do things. Like, I'd be a horrible self-help novelist. My book would be really short. The next 6 minutes. If I get married sometime in the next 5 years, will y'all come to my wedding? Of course I'll come to your wedding, Six. Polly?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And you will have to come to my wedding. The both of you. Capish?
Yep.
Good. Oh, she skipped. Your boy Pat asks, do you think Penelope Cat hated Pepe Le Pew for his advances or because he stunk? Because he stunk. Because he was the skunk, right? And she was the cat?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, because he stunk. Because who wants... Unless you're a skunk, why would you want to get it on with a skunk? Because he was very charming, I will say. But I'm sure he was rank. Or unless you have, like, that weird olfactory thing where you can't smell the smell of skunk. Some people have that. In which case, then you're fine. Polly, your thoughts on
Yep.
Pepe Le Pew?
I think it's because of his advances.
Really? You think they were unappreciated?
Mm-hmm. That's what I think it is. I think he was just a lonely Frenchman trying to get a date, and She was just too bougie for him. That was it.
Because she's a house cat.
That's right. And he's just a street skunk.
Yeah, that's not a match made in heaven, is it?
Yeah.
That's rough, buddy. Better luck next time. Find yourself a nice skunk lady. Weebo, are you handing out candy for trick-or-treaters? I don't ever get trick-or-treaters. I have a candy bowl right by the door, but my apartment is in such a way that no trick-or-treaters would be able to get into the door to trick-or-treat, and so it probably won't happen, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would. Polly, are you?
Am I going trick-or-treating? No.
No, are you handing out candy to trick-or-treaters?
I will, but I only got like the big old box that I bought from Walmart of candy. So when that's done,
Mm-hmm.
the lights are out and I ain't answering no more does.
That's fair. So big old box of Walmart candy, like, is it big candy bars, or are they like the tiny little ones?
They're the fun size candy bars. It's a mix. You know, it's a box. It's a mixture of all of the things. Like there's a bunch of different candy bars in there.
Ow.
Yeah.
When I get a house, I'm gonna be the house that gives out the big candy bars. 'Cause I'm extra like that. I want kids to enjoy trick-or-treating immensely. I'm gonna make El Boyfriendo dress up in a costume too. And we're gonna answer the door together as a couple in our like adorable little costume that is on theme. Then we're gonna look at all the kids' costumes and go, "Oh my gosh, what a cute little M&M! Oh, aren't you just delicious?" I'm gonna be that person. The little old lady syndrome will reign supreme. I'm ready. Weebo, spooky stream tomorrow? Question mark. I didn't really have plans to. I could do an early morning Halloween stream if everyone wants to, but I do have a video coming out later in the afternoon at 3 o'clock Central Standard Time. The Halloween special is a-coming, and we're excited. There's actually a promo on the channel if you so feel inclined to watch it. I will link it in the chat below. Very excited for the Halloween special. It's actually kind of on point with what we were talking about, some of what we were talking about today during the stream, specifically with regards to like culture shenanigans and the monolith that does but doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So here is... Oh, shush. I can hear the video in my earball. Here is the promo that I cut together. It's literally just a piece, a section, a subsection of the actual video itself. You can skip it when you get to the actual video, but it gives you like an overview of the previous Halloween specials, which is in a playlist linked at the end, and then it kind of gives you an idea of what to expect with this year's Halloween special. I'm very proud. The Halloween special is my favorite video to do every single year, because I give you a mini history lesson, and it's educational, but it's also fun, and I just pull out all of the editing props that I have to my name. So, like, it is overproduced to fuck, but it's good shit. Excite. Italian voice sync effect? I don't understand what that means. Polly, do you understand what the Italian voice sync effect is?
No.
I might need you to explain that one to me, Snoopy. Daniel Folman asks, thoughts on Elon Musk's sync stunt at Twitter? Sync stunt. Do you know what that means, Polly?
You got me on that one too. No idea. For fuck's sake.
Polly, why aren't you on Twitter more?
I know.
Is Twitter not your life?
It's not.
Oh.
It's really not.
Well, that's depresso. Oh, I wish you could see this, Polly. She's just like, she lifted herself on her hind paws and she's on the chair and she's trying to reach me with her paw. Like, pet me, you fool. I need a cat cam. I absolutely need a cat cam. It would be the best thing ever. So that the sail would sink in. Move your lips in hearing sound a second out of phase. Ah! Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. So I had previous videos overlaid over what I was narrating, and that's why it looked like it was out of sync, is because the video was me talking that I was playing, but it was a flashback to a previous video. It wasn't actually me talking as I was mouthing. Okay,
Right.
I see what they're talking about. Your boy Pet, he brought a sync into Twitter HQ as a way of letting it sink in that he owns it now. What the fuck? That is such an
Yeah. I mean,
edgelordy thing to do.
I'm trying to. I'm not. I mean, I've seen the video of him walking in with the kitchen sink, and it's like, so what's the idea that like he's throwing out everything but the kitchen sink, meaning you're all fucking fired, or was
No,
it?
it's let that sink in, as in I'm the boss now, bitches. Because he bought Twitter.
No, I'm aware, but I'm just saying, like, it's why a kitchen sink. It's like let that sink in.
Get it?
Yeah, I guess.
I get it.
Are
Now
you
that it's
sure?
been explained to me.
Considering that he fired people right on the, from the get-go. Are you sure it wasn't? Everything but the kitchen sink is going? Are you sure?
It could be that too. I mean, it can be multiple things, can it not be? Like
Yeah,
that,
why not?
That would be very meta of him. Although that's the wrong stock to be investing in at that juncture. Ha, 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 ha. Dad joke humor. Yeah, it was. If I was a father, I'd probably get it better. But I'm not a father.
It might be a dad joke, but it's funny.
I do appreciate it. Okay, you're gonna go down here. Because guess what time it is?
Time for you to go to bed?
Yeah, I should probably start heading to bed. But yeah. It's been 2 hours and 2 minutes and 1 second. She doesn't want to go. I'm gonna have to use the spritzer. Because I need to finish up and then we can go take a nap, okay? So, anyway. Polly, did you want to shill anything that you have coming up for the special, Halloween day that is tomorrow? I don't know why I'm giving you 2 cents.
No, nothing particular. It's Halloween related.
No.
I've been watching the Spookum films and been having a good time with it. But
Yes. But other than that, like, okay, maybe nothing.
I don't have
Halloween-related,
I don't
but-
have a Polyween special, if that's what you're asking. No.
That would be a great name for a Halloween special. Halloween
Yeah.
or Polyween. I challenge you next year to one-up me with a Halloween special of your choosing.
Yeah, I'll steal all your ideas. Yeah.
You're gonna steal all my
yeah,
ideas?
okay. Yeah, I'm okay with doing that. I mean, it's besides I need to get ready because Christmas is coming. So like, the whole month of Christmas I'm going to be doing crazy Christmas things.
The
So,
whole
yeah.
month of Christmas?
Yes. December is the month of Christmas.
Are you, like, what are you doing for Christmas then?
I'm just going to do like a fuck ton of noir bars, even if I'm the only one there. Somebody actually asked in a comment section underneath one of the AAA videos today, does Polly still do the bar thing? And I'm like, that's how sad it's gotten, that it's unfortunately that people are, 2 weeks go by. Welcome to the internet where, unfortunately, if you don't keep up with your content, people think you stopped doing it. And no, that's not what happened. It was the Friday night. Both Sam and Far were set to come on, and Far's been working 12-hour shifts, 6 days a week, and so was not available to
Right.
do Noir Bar with us, which was unfortunate. So it was just kind of like Sam, and then I was able to wrangle Sam into doing it, and he was generous enough to come along. But Late Friday afternoon, I got shanghaied, bamboozled, corralled, cudgeled, uh, 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 tricked, run amok, sandbagged into doing work as of that I had to be up for 6:30 a.m. So there's no way I can start a show at 12:30 a.m. and be up for 6:30 a.m. Like I'm all into the no sleep thing, but like fuck me.
Yeah.
You Daniel Fulman, Polly Reed's The Headless Horseman. Browbeaten, yes. That's the one I've browbeaten into it. I was. It's interesting that there's so many words for that. Speaks volumes now.
I guess, yeah.
Corralled. Yes, exactly. I was corralled. I was just hornswoggled, indeed. Yes, all of them. It was
I've never heard that one before.
hornswoggled? Yeah,
No.
that's a great one. Yeah, that's awesome. So I didn't get to do it, and then people are thinking that Noir Bar is not going on, and it's like, no, it totally is. It was disappointing, especially because it was the first time we were going to be able to do a Noir Bar with Far in quite some time, so it's sad that it didn't end up happening. But,
Yeah.
no, I did use Bamboozled Snoopy. I'm pretty sure I had Bamboozled in there. I meant to. I felt bamboozled.
It happens.
Yeah. Regardless, throughout the month of Christmas, we will be. Even if I have to do Noir Bars by myself, I'll get them all done, strong armed, and definitely, I was chicken winged into it. Damn it. So Weebo has generously offered her time throughout the month of December to hang out often on Noir Bar, which was surprising, but a delightful surprise.
I do have a lot of time that opens up in December, so yeah, I can make time for.
Which is
good
why
old
she
Noir
offered,
Bar.
and we're very happy about that.
We'll have to sort out the schedule. It's just like Polly said that he can do the Halloween, the Weebo Jones annual holiday special with me.
Does it require the making of content? I never got an answer back about that.
Well, so this year, I think I'm gonna do something a little different. I haven't figured it out yet, but I was gonna rope you in as my co-host for the holiday stream.
You're gonna rope me in?
Yeah, for like a whole
Damn
2
it!
hours.
There's another one I forgot. I got roped in.
Yeah.
No, I can do. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't require me to create content, which when down to the wire, it's it takes me forever to get around to doing it because I end up tossing it off my ideas as not being good enough. When it's just Weebo streaming, obviously fucking anything's good enough. But it was a joke. That was a joke.
Not the holiday special. Because I have an idea.
Okay.
But it's not fully fleshed out yet. I have to ruminate over it.
Hold on, which special were you talking about then?
The holiday special. The annual Christmas stream for raising money for charity that I do every year.
Yeah, but you just said not the holiday special.
The holiday special is different from like what we do on Cocktail Hour, where it's just like anything.
No, I'm aware of that.
Oh.
Yeah. You're confusing.
You are confusing. Maybe I'm just tired. I don't know. Weeb miss. Yes, Weeb miss. That's what we call it. I totally forgot that we started doing that. Another holiday related thing that we do on the channel that I've just retroactively made a thing. Because like I started doing holiday charity streams accidentally. And then last year it was intentionally. And so now I'm just making it a thing. Weebo and Polly Save Christmas. Very, very likely. I want to run the idea by Polly once I have it fully fleshed out, but I haven't done that yet. So, this is me preemptively asking Polly to be my wingman for the Weeb Miss stream.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think I can do that.
I'm sorry I didn't wine and dine you into it, but, you know. It just kind of accidentally happened.
Yeah.
while we're
I've
here.
been dragged into too many questionable things when drunk. My God.
Well, at least you can't say that I've taken advantage of you now,
Right?
right? This is a tit for tat, fair play, turnabout, and all that jazz.
Very well.
I come on for Noir Bars. You help me co-host the Weeb stream.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do that.
Yes. Okay, cool. I will give you more deets when I have them fully fleshed out. In the
Sounds like
meantime,
a plan.
was there anything else that you wanted to shill?
Nope.
No?
No, I mean, there's
AAAs?
a AAA throughout the week. Tomorrow we'll be over on Drunken Uncle's channel at 5:30 p.m., 5:30 a.m. on Christmas Island, and then the best one of the week over on my channel. That's
Of course.
just YouTube /Polydub. We'll take you right there. And that is also at 5:30 p.m., 5:30 a.m. Christmas Island. But it's better because, well, it's mine.
Ooh.
It's more fun things happen there. And then I guess there's something, I don't know, Friday we do it on Sinatra's channel or something.
I guess. Maybe.
Same time.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So on that note, Weebo is off to bed, for it is the pumpkining hour. Ooh, that fits extra good tonight. That's what she said. Fuck, I'm sorry. That works. Because it's the day before Halloween. Get it, Polly? Pumpkin?
I do get it.
Okay, good, because I'm tired. So, yes, it is the pumpkining hour, in which case, Weebo is off to bed, Polly is off to do whatever Polly does in the late nights that he awakens and stays awake. Are we back here next week? Can we
Yep.
be back here next week?
Yep.
Alright, so we're back here next week, same time, same place, maybe earlier. Do you want to do it earlier?
Yeah, we can.
We do the normal time that we're supposed to do it at?
Yeah.
The 7 o'clock?
No, yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
we only did it late this week because, I don't know, stupidity or whatever.
Well, because I was ignoring El Boyfriendo all week trying to get the Halloween special out, so I wanted to spend a little bit of time with him before he went to bed tonight. So
Oh, fair enough.
that was my reason for postponing it an hour. I
That's
think that's a
fine.
good reason.
I think it's a good reason as well.
Okay. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, lizard people of all ages, I have been Weebo, he has been Polly, we have been Cocktail Hour, and we'll see you next week. Later, losers!
Have a good night.